Hello, this is Annie from the ADHD Minimalist, and I had a comment that was asking for videos about how to declutter with eBay. And I have one out there. You're welcome to go watch. It's about how I made a system for putting things in boxes and writing what's in it and such, so that I didn't redo what I did once, where I sold something on eBay and then I couldn't find it. So I was really stressing out. I didn't know what to do if the item it didn't I didn't know what to do if the item didn't show up and then somebody bought it. So I didn't want to freak out like that again. So anyway, I have a whole video about how I organize selling with eBay. But then someone asked for more specific information about what sells and what doesn't sell, as well as what kind of fees you need to take into consideration. So we're going to dive into the fees in this video. Just wanted to let you know before we start that I've decided that the comments contest is going to continue until the end of the summer, so the end of August. Then I will just go in and look at all the comments and pick a winner. So that is because there was hardly any comments at all, actually none, I think, during the 2 weeks that I was planning on having the comments contest. So I have children's clothing newly produced from ethical suppliers, and I would love to send those to you for free. So go in and watch the video that is called, the thumbnail says, "We have a surprise today," and then it's called "One Rule Equals Easy Medicine Cabinet Declutter." And on that video, there's the information for if you want to be part of the comments contest. And I'm going to pick 3 winners who get to win children's clothing, and you can say what size, up to about maybe an 8 or a 9-year-old from baby. So anyway, go in and watch that other video and you can find out about the rules and learn how to declutter your medicine cabinet. So we're just going to dive right into this decluttering with eBay. So what to charge? Well, the first obvious fee that you're going to have is the fee that eBay charges when you sell an item. And they'll give you, I believe in the States, I looked it up and it was $250, and they call it zero insertion fee listings. And so you can list 250 things every month without having to pay for putting it on the eBay platform. In Sweden, it's actually only 100 things every month that you don't have to pay for. So you'll kind of have to check for country to country to see, how many things you can do for free. And then I've listed more than 100 things, and the fees really aren't that high for those extra items. But if you want to keep the cost down as much as possible, then try to keep within the items that you have for zero insertion fee. So that would be the first thing. And then basically what they charge in Sweden, most of the time it's around 10%. It looks like what they said in the States was it's about 12.9%, so almost 13% of the total cost of the sale item. So, and that's, I don't know, on small items, it doesn't end up being that much money, but it is a lot if you sell stuff that costs several $1,000s. But they have, after $7,500, then they lower the fee. So you still have to pay this 12.9% up to $7,500, and then the rest of your sale price above the $7,500, they only take out 2.35%. So I don't know, that would be, I guess some people sell cars on eBay and big ticket items. I have never done that personally. I don't know, I think I'm a little bit nervous about buying a car that I haven't seen. So sometimes though, you can list stuff and then you can say that they can come and pick it up and people can come look at it. So that would kind of be a different story. But I do find that when I list things that, what do I want to say? Like bigger items, maybe furniture that the children have outgrown, like a small table with small chairs, that can actually be packaged and sent at a reasonable fee. In Sweden, at least. You probably need to check the fees in America. I don't use the normal postal service here. You could use probably UPS in the States, some of these other businesses that sell, they'll sell you the fee for shipping, and then you print out the shipping paper with their barcode and everything on it, and you tape it on the box so everything's ready. And then sometimes they'll even come and pick it up at your house, which is really nice. Sometimes you have to take it to a drop-off point. It might depend on where you live. But like the nice thing about these companies is that usually they want your things to be in boxes, and so they don't mind if all of your things are a little bit bigger than they like at the regular postal office. So that said, you're gonna have shipping costs, and what I usually think about with shipping costs is that you have to know what things weigh. So invest in a good, accurate scale, because I started out with a really old scale for weighing yourself. It was probably made in the 50s or something. It's not very accurate. And so sometimes I would get these messages from eBay that said, we're adding, I don't know, $1 to your fee this month because something was too heavy when we tried to ship it. And honestly, it hasn't been that often, and it hasn't been that big of a deal. You just have to pay that extra $1. Often it's been about $1 per item that was too heavy. So that came out of my profit, but it's better to think about that stuff beforehand, because it's the seller who's paying the shipping. You are not paying the shipping, unless you want to ship it for free. But I don't usually do that, because I find that most people are they're find that paying a shipping fee is just normal, especially after Corona. People don't want to get out to the store as much. They just rather that the stuff just comes to their door. So they don't mind paying shipping fees. So anyway, but you have to think about whatever you charge, then you have this 10 to 13% fee on the final price, whatever it sells for. So you have that, and then you have to add in your shipping fee. You also have a fee for packaging. And I don't know, I don't pay much for packaging. I usually reuse boxes that I get in the mail, and if there's some kind of packing material in them, I save it and then I reuse it. But I also get some stuff from a local restaurant, and sometimes you can ask if you need a bigger box at the grocery store. And usually businesses are happy to get rid of boxes, because at least in Sweden they have to pay to get rid of them, or at least if you get rid of it for free in your business, you have to drive it somewhere and drop it off and take time to like sort it into the different bins. And if you have a lot of stuff, you have to pay to get rid of it. So usually stores think it's nice if you can come and take some of those boxes and stuff off their hands. So that's an option, like just picking up boxes for free when you get your groceries. And then I usually use old wallpaper to pack stuff in. So sometimes you'll find it at secondhand stores. Like I'm talking about like ugly wallpaper that you wouldn't even want to resell. It's brown or some horrendous color that you wouldn't use. And so you just like pull pieces of it off and you crunch it all together and put it around the things that you're selling. And I find that if you use wallpaper, usually like newspaper, it crunches a little bit smaller and you have to use lots and lots of newspapers. But wallpaper, it doesn't crunch as much, and so you don't need as much of it. So that's sort of the nice thing about using wallpaper. But I mean, you can ask your neighbors for old newspapers. You could, reuse the peanut packaging and anything that you get. You can even ask for like if stores get stuff that has packaging that they're not going to reuse, like these plastic peanuts or whatever, or bubble wrap, if you can have it. It doesn't matter if it's the bubble wrap has been ripped a few times. Just crunch it around stuff in the boxes and it works fine. And that way you're helping the environment, because you're not buying new stuff. And you can go out and buy a new thing of bubble wrap. I don't know. Once I bought one, maybe it was about this big, the roll, and maybe, this wide. And I don't know, it costs $5 to $10, but still, if you can get stuff that other people are just going to throw out, it's a win-win for everybody. So, but I'm going to back up here a little bit and talk about a few more fees. So we talked about the fees that eBay takes out of your winning cut. And then they cut it out of your winning price. But you can also pay for extra stuff. You can pay like $4 to get your item bolded so that it's more obvious, or it says to people, look here. You can also pay for ads. You can pay to list things in 2 categories. Honestly, I've never done any of these things. I think once upon a time I did pay to like bold something. And I don't know, in Sweden, the eBay has a thing where you can pay to like your ad keeps going up to the top every once in a while. So it's more obvious to people. But I just stopped doing all of those things because I feel like the cost isn't really worth what I'm getting from those. I don't know. I guess it's just advertising is what it is. Different ways that eBay advertises your item, but you have to pay for it. And the only time that I think I would recommend that you pay for those eBay's advertising is if you were maybe selling a car or something that's really a big ticket item that you know you're going to get a lot of money out of. And the more people that see it, the more people that bid on it, the more people that you are going to pay or drive the price up. Smaller items like children's clothing and home goods and that sort of thing, you're not going to make that much money off of it that it's worth this extra advertising fees. So just skip that. Then let's see here. We talked about what packaging costs. I did buy some padded envelopes, and I bought a huge box of them from a big office supplier, so they weren't that expensive. But just remember, if you know you're going to send an item and it's easiest to put it in a padded envelope, which I found that the shipping supplier that I use, they don't really like padded envelopes. They want it to be like, 2 inches thick or something. So I've almost quit using those when I switched the people who take care of my shipping. So that's another thing to check first before you go and buy a whole bunch of padded envelopes. If you're going to send it in the mail with your normal postal service, then they like these padded envelopes because they can send it as a letter. It doesn't have to be a package because it's not so thick. So you sort of have to look at the prices and what they recommend from different people who ship goods before you decide to buy 200 padded envelopes. The thing about buying so many is that they don't cost very much each one. So I don't know, I think mine costs under $1 each. I don't know, some cents. I don't remember exactly what, but then you have to add whatever that costs, take how many envelopes you got, and then, just divide that. And then you have what each one costs. And then you just add that to your price, your starting price. So that's one thing you're going to need to add on to the price. Another thing you're going to need to add on to the price, the shipping is sort of a separate thing. Like they'll just tell you put in how much it weighs, and they'll usually calculate that for you, and then you can pick the different suppliers. And so then they'll add that. You'll have your price, and they'll add that shipping price on separately. So the things that you need to think about yourself are what is the packaging cost, and then I sometimes think about what does tape cost, because I buy these rolls of rather thick, clear, see-through packing tape. And I like the see-through kind because you can just put it over the shipping labels that you print out, and then they don't get wet. Because if you get the barcode wet, then at least where I live, then I don't know if they can even ship it, because the most important information on that shipping label is the barcode. So I always just put tape over the entire label, and I don't have to worry about it getting wet and then it not ending up where it's supposed to go. So I charge about 50 cents per item for tape. And I don't know if that's, I just kind of decided, the tape maybe costs $3 to $5 per roll. It depends on where you buy it. But when I buy cheap tape, when I pull the tape off the roll, it sounds terrible. So it can almost give you a headache. So spending a little bit more money on tape and just putting it into your selling price is worth it on your ears, because the cheap tape, it sounds awful when you're trying to get it off the roll. So about 50 cents per item for tape. And then you have whatever your padded envelopes cost or whatever your boxes cost if you have to buy them. But you also have, I usually like to start a little bit higher when I set the price for items. So maybe let's say it's name brand ski pants and the ski jacket that I'm selling that my kids grew out of, and it's gently used and it's good for maybe 2 more seasons of winter. Then in Sweden, those things cost a lot. We're talking about hundreds of dollars. Maybe the set costs, close to $400. They're really expensive. So then I know that when I sell it, I can set a pretty high starting price. And I don't ever set the starting price lower than what I'm willing to sell the item for. Because in the beginning, I did try to do this thing where you start with a few 50 cents or something, and then eBay acts like that's the best way to get money, because people kind of get into this bidding war, and you start bidding and you don't want to stop, so you just add a little bit more than you were planning on. And I mean, that's psychology of how people work, but I found that I did sell some items for less than $5, and I was kind of like, I don't know, felt like I have to ship these things and I'm not making any money, and it wasn't very fun. So I just decided not to do that anymore. So I will put the price for the item a little bit too high the first time, and I will lower it in increments of maybe $2 to $5 for the next few weeks until it sells. And I won't put it out there for anything lower than I think it's worth, or a lower starting price than I'm willing to ship it for. So if I had this like really nice ski outfit that was gently used for like one winter or something, and it costs around $400 new, I might start it off at like $199 or something like that, close to half price, because I know in Sweden, we live where it's cold, that people will actually pay that. Now, if you live where it's warm and you're selling something like that, it really depends. If your whole entire country that you live in is really warm and you happen to have ski gear because you went on vacation in another country, you might have trouble selling that. If you live in the United States, then you can always sell it to people who live in the north. But again, it really depends. That kind of really expensive items that your kids have used, you kind of have to know that it's a name brand item, it's in really, really nice condition, and that maybe it's only been used by one child for one season, and you kind of have to put all that stuff in the description for people to pay that much money for it. But that's just one example. I mean, like, a lot of the stuff I sell isn't worth that much. It's maybe worth, I don't know, I like to sell stuff started off between $10 and $30. And then sometimes you'll get lucky and people will bid on something and you'll get a lot more for something than you thought. But I mean, a lot of the kids' clothes and items that I sell, they're sold for somewhere between $10 and $30. And I don't really like to sell anything for less than $10 because I don't feel like it's worth my time. If I know that I'm not going anywhere where they have a secondhand store to leave stuff for a long time, I might sell something for $5 because I want it out of my hair. So then it's more the idea that I'm getting rid of it, even if I have to drive it to the postal office when I'm going to the grocery store or something. At least I'm getting it out of my house and out of my hair. So if you live really close to a post office or somewhere where you can send stuff, or if the part of the deal is that UPS or whatever carrier you use comes to your house and picks up your package, then maybe you don't have to think about charging people for gas money for driving it to wherever you have to leave the package. Where I live, I have to drive all of my packages to the next town, which isn't super far away. Maybe it takes me 7 minutes to get there, but the gas prices have gotten a lot more expensive. And so you sort of have to think about, I don't want to just drive to the store just to leave one package, because that is not very economical. So I try to do it when I have another thing that I have to do in town. Like, I get my groceries, maybe I need to go to the pharmacy, and I will take all the boxes from 1 week. So you can go in to eBay and set up a winner mail, an automatic email that they send out every time somebody wins an auction that you're selling. So in that mail, here, I made a note of this, I believe. In that mail, yeah, here we go. In that mail, what you want to say is how many days they have to pay, and I usually say 3. And then you also want to say how many days between auctions are you willing to ship things together. So if they want combined shipping, I don't know, I think some people only do 3 days, or 5 days. Maybe they had like set options that you could choose on eBay. At least in Sweden they do. I don't know how that is in America, but either way you can make up your own rules and put it in this winner email. Like, if you're willing to let people wait 7 days after they bought one item to try to buy another item, and then you ship them together, we'll just tell people that in this winner email. And you might also want to put it in your ads as well. But I give people 7 days. So if they win one auction and they have another auction they want to bid on in the next 7 days, and then I just combine the shipping, and then that means that I have to weigh the items together afterwards and give them a new shipping cost, which usually means they get, I don't know, sometimes half price on shipping, which is a really good deal. And that way you can often get more items sold. And then you just have to ship it, put one shipping label on there and stuff. So, I mean, it takes some time to reweigh it, but it saves you a little bit of time too. And, but I mean, like, I like to point out that I ship stuff and be like once a week on the day that I go shopping. And you can explain that to people. I don't live in a town right next to the store or right next to the postal service. And so I collect everything that sells during the whole week. And I take all the boxes once a week to town when I go to my shopping. And that is because it saves me gas money. It also saves the environment. And people understand that. So if they have to wait a whole week because they bought it on Monday and you don't take it to the store until the next weekend or something, then they understand. I've never had anybody complain about that, except when it took a long time to ship because all my kids were sick or something, and then you just have to send them an email and explain what happened, and people are usually very understanding. So let's see here. Did I get through? I guess another thing that might be interesting to know is that I let items run for usually about up to 6 weeks. So every week you set the price a little bit too high, and then if it doesn't sell the first week, just lower it, I don't know, $2 to $5, and you could just continue like that. Usually stuff will sell within 6 weeks. If it doesn't, I mean, sometimes I've let stuff go longer because I haven't been going to town. I have to drive an hour to get to the secondhand store. So this is a way for me to like get rid of things that we don't need anymore without having to drive it all the way to the big city that's an hour away. But anyway, sometimes I've actually let stuff go for, I don't know, like 6 months or something, just because I didn't have the energy to take it to the big city and get rid of it, and then it eventually sold. Sometimes if I notice things just aren't selling, I'm just going to give up on these items, then I just donate them when I have to go to the city for some other reason. Just leave a whole bag of stuff there. And you'll kind of learn after a while what things sell and what things don't sell. And so then eventually you won't even put those things that won't sell on eBay. So that will save you some time. But I mean, some of it, you have to sort of just get the feel of what sells really quickly and what doesn't, and what kind of price you have to get it sold. And I mean, there's always the problem with like, you think things are worth more than everybody else does. And and that's actually a thing. Like, everybody does it. As soon as you own an item, then you think it's worth more than it is. And so you kind of have to get over that and then learn what people are actually willing to pay for stuff. And that's why I kind of suggest put the price a little bit high and start lowering it, and eventually it'll sell. And then you kind of see where that happy medium is between you getting money for the items so you're happy and somebody else feeling like they got a decent deal on something. So, well, I think I've gotten through most of the stuff that I wrote on my lists. Let's see here. Yeah, and if you have to drive, that was another thing, I guess. If you have to drive somewhere and leave all of your packages, you can add like 50 cents or something on each item for gas. So then you're like talking about maybe you want to add on 50 cents for tape and 50 cents for gas, and maybe a little bit for packaging. Although I like to find free packaging. I have hardly ever had to buy a box or anything other than like a padded envelope. So just ask around. Usually you can find that stuff for free. But if you did have to buy it, just add that onto the price, and then don't lower the price too much so that you get about $10 out of the sale at least. And then after that you also have the $1 would be for the tape and the gas, and then maybe you have another $1 for your padded envelope. So then you don't want to like make the starting price less than $12 at that point. So just be aware of that if you after a few weeks you're trying to lower the price to get rid of stuff, unless you're like desperate just to get rid of it and you don't care that it costs you a little bit of time and you're not getting a lot of money for your time. Then by all means just check it for $5 or $4 or something. But if your goal is that your time is getting paid for, then try not to sell anything for less than $10. It does take a little bit of time to take the picture and write the description and put it on eBay. And what I like to do is, if I'm going to do clothing for kids or something, like pick a time when you have some time to like do a bunch of things at one time. And then you start by like, you make the first one, I'm not really sure what they call it in English, but they call it model. It's like you, in Sweden anyway, you can take one ad and then either you can sell something similar, and so you reuse that first ad, or you can make a, I don't know, like a set form where you fill in some stuff and then you can just reuse it over and over again and you save that form. But I mean, if you don't want to like try to go in and do the pre-settings on something, then just pick another ad that you've already made that's similar and say you're going to sell something similar, and then that ad will come up and you just change whatever is wrong. So take away the pictures, add new pictures. If it's clothes and it's about the same size and about the same description, like gently used, it's, I don't know, 5-year-old's clothes, you don't have to change the whole description. Then you just go in and change a few things and put it in a different category if it happened to be for a boy instead of for a girl or something. That way it goes a lot faster. So sometimes I'll just have like a half a day where I'll just put the kids' clothes in groups and do all of these groups and put them all on eBay the same day, because it saves me a lot of time to do it that way. And then you have them on there until they sell. And so some weeks I won't put anything new on eBay. I'll just wait for some stuff to sell. And so maybe once a month I'm spending a whole day putting things on eBay. Or sometimes if I'm just cleaning something out, I'll just quickly take a picture and just put one thing on there. But usually those items are like really odd things. Like, I don't know, I've sold a bedside tables that were wall mounted, so they weren't all that big. I don't know, stuff that I was just like, I don't know if this will sell or not. And actually it sold really fast. So sometimes if you're just like going through your garage and you're about to chuck stuff out and you're like, I don't know if it'll sell or not, just quickly take a picture and put it on there really quick. And sometimes I'll just guess on the shipping at that point, and always guess high, because if you contact the seller later and say the shipping costs less, they're always happy. If you contact them and say that it costs a lot more, then they're really upset. So always guess on the shipping that it costs more than you think it does. So that is about it for today. I mean, just remind you again, you can, if you want to be part of the comments contest and win some kids' clothes, then go on over to the video about decluttering your medicine drawer, your medicine cabinet. And it says like, we have a surprise on that thumbnail. And you can also go over and watch my other video about decluttering with eBay. And that's about how I organize my eBay items so that I don't lose stuff and panic. So have a really great day. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. And if you have any comments or any videos that you would like me to make, then just put it in the comments somewhere and I will respond as soon as I can. And I'd love to make videos for you. So have a great day. Bye.